think it's entirely understandable that I don't have children. I'm in the category you were in, Michelle, in that I don't have children, but I categorically wouldn't send my children to private school.
So you were like me, so tell me why.
Exactly. Being really honest, I don't believe in it. I went to my local state comprehensive. It was fine. It wasn't a terrible school. So I guess my parents were lucky that the school down the road wasn't, failing. It wasn't, massively disruptive. But I had similar experiences, teachers just walking out in the middle of lessons, fights going on, things being thrown across the classroom, etc. And you know what? I kind of feel I benefited from being in a very diverse set of people, understanding different people's experiences, having to adjust to the fact that there are people who learn at different paces and rates, etc. So I think there's a value of that. But look, I don't have children, and I can absolutely understand the desire when you do have children to just think, I want the absolute best for my kids, right? That's human nature. But actually, Kevin put it perfectly, I thought, when he said, if you've got the means to do it, then you would do it. And I think that's the problem, that it is a two-tier education system. And we have, whether it's Blair and his education, whether it was the coalition and the Michael Gove reforms, which did narrow the gap in terms of the achievement of poor kids and richer kids. Most politicians genuinely do want to try and improve the state sector. But if you're taking out the group of kids that have the parents that are really engaged, either because they want to be or because they have the time to be, right, or the means to be, or they had a good education themselves, and you're leaving the kids that need more support, as we've described, that might be more disruptive, you're always going to struggle. So actually, the problem is that in whatever scenario, you're always going to have a better model because of the reasons, Kevin, you described. The kids are better behaved, the parents are more engaged, the teachers spend more time with them. They create these networks. Actually, it's not even just about the education. It's about all of the extracurricular that go around it. I bet your kids have all sorts of other opportunities to learn skills which then set them up in life. The reason I don't think that we will end up with a massive backlash, and you're right, there are, this comes up quite a lot, and I always find it somewhat hilarious when you get the Telegraph with its headline saying, social engineering, Oxford and Cambridge, want to reduce the number of private school applicants and increase the number from state school. And I kind of laugh to myself as though social engineering isn't sending your kid to a private school in the first place. But actually, if you look at, which is the story that you raised, Michelle, if you look at the disproportionate number of people in the most powerful positions, be that in media, which is terrible for representation of people from working class backgrounds, whether you look at politics.
Not at GBNews though, everyone, because us three, none of us went to private school.
And that is great. But I think it's something like 40-odd% of, for example, newspaper columnists went to private school. 7% of the population did. 40-odd% of the people who are doing the bulk of the commentary. It's something like 65% of senior judges did. If you look at anywhere, lawyers, doctors, politicians, journalists, there's a massively disproportionate group of people who went to private school.